willing to spread factual information. Julian Joyce Bonga at the studio.
Breaking news: Philippine evacuates 1,000 after Mayon volcano rumbles. The Philippine Heritage Laws defied to preserve Manila's historical building. Philippines beware, because now the Philippines is one of the most vulnerable country in climate change. Kariel from its Showtime host now came back to play the role Sita again in Ramahari.
Philippines evacuates 1,000 after Mayon volcano rumbles. A news report by Ms. Ana Faith Sahul.
Live here in the central Philippines, province of Albay, in the state of disaster. On Friday, authorities went from village to village at the foot of Mayon volcano to move a resident a temporary shelter. Scientists say the increased activity that could lead to a dangerous explosion.
We see two possible scenarios. First is the 2014 scenario, wherein there were only rock falls, or it could be like 2018, when there was a major eruption.
Despite this warning, areas around the volcanoes aren't a no man's land yet.
Mayon volcanoes, the mountain behind me, is one of the most active volcanoes in the Philippines. It threatens and erupts every few years. Now, this area is within its 6 kilometers radius declared as a permanent danger zone.
But thousands of people live here. Some families have taken a day to away of an eruption. The De La Torres are getting ready to leave after the government order evacuation.
Life in the evacuation center isn't easy. We sleep on the ground. There are cash stipends, but we don't get them right away.
Eden Alemania says she's worried about their crops and livestock, but for the sake of their children, she's decided to evacuate.
We hear and feel the volcano rumbling. Then last night, the summit was glowing.
Mayon volcano is part of their life, but how can anyone get used to it? They ask, when the choices is between life and death.
This is Ana Faith Sahul, Al Jazeera News. Back to you, Miss Jillian Joyce Bonga.
Thank you so much, Ms. Ana Faith Sahul. Now, the Philippine Heritage Laws. A news report by Mr. Rydal S. Miano when Al Jazeera News return.
Are you cold? Well, my blanket suits your mood. Come and buy my affordable blankets in any style. This is softer than other with a very low price. Come and buy. Visit my Facebook page for other information. Ready blankets or call 0999 for more details. Grab yours now.
Live again, Al Jazeera News. Willing to spread factual information. Julian Joyce Bonga at the studio. The Philippine Heritage Laws. A news report by Mr. Rydal S. Miano.
It took responders for a date of Corrupto Fire, a nation watched in horror as nearly 100 years of history is burned. One of the capital's most famous landmarks, the Manila Central Post Office.
If you ask me what's the biggest loss, you will see it's the structure itself.
Capitol Theater, located across the rivers from the post office, is almost unrecognizable, and its heyday in the 1930s. It was state-of-the-art in the art of Deco masterpiece. The government approved the construction of the high-rise.
There's no demolition, there's nothing's gonna happen on that end.
By the order the Cinema's Passage routine, the developer decided to tear down last year.
Under the law, a building is considered a cultural property. It is more than 50 years old and designed by a renowned architect. The Philippine Heritage Act of 2009 is meant to protect, preserve heritage structures like a Manila Central Post Office.
Instead, the Capitol Theater has become symbol of fight to preserve Manila's cultural heritage. But the art been demolished. Source structures are disappear. Yet, there's a reason for optimism. The Manila Measure Flotant was recently restored after years of neglect.
They retain a smidgen of the tower, right? Just to suggest that there is a tower here. But the rest of the building is gone. The building, the Capitol Theater, cannot tell the story anymore as eloquently as it could have.
Those mistakes include the lack of fire prevention measures. Initial investigation found the post office building was not equipped with sprinklers, widely used modern firefighting system that could have saved a national treasure. Back to you, Miss Jillian.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ryan Leno. And now, to distinguish the atmospheric activities live here at the studio, our weather forecaster, Ms. Crisime Ocano.
The Philippines is experiencing climate crisis. It is the most tropical cyclone-visited country in the world, averaging 20 tropical cyclones per year. This year, the country already had 17 tropical cyclones, including severe storm Paeng, which affected 4 million Filipinos and took the life of 150 Filipinos.
Ang Pilipinas ay isa siya sa mga natutulingang most vulnerable countries, no? In fact, yung very recent study na lumabas on disaster risk, yung Pilipinas ay number 1 na.
According to Virginia Verona Dewey, climate change campaigner of Greenpeace, Philippines should improve its disaster preparedness, especially more superstorms are bound to enter in coming years. She also said Philippines is eligible for the being beneficiary of the Climate Change Convention Conference.
Talagang kinakailangang humingi tayo ng loss and damage mula sa mga rich countries kung saan sila historically napatunayan na malaki ang greenhouse gas emission na kontribusyon nila at ibinibigay na nagkakaroon ng masamang dulot o pinsala sa mga developing countries.
Each individual should also take steps in caring the environment. One is recycling. Instead of throwing out plastic containers, reuse them to restore food or other items. They can also start composting the recycling, such as food scraps or leaves. Buying local food can also help reducing greenhouse gases consumption.
It will not get better anymore. Climate change is impacting us and it's upon us. Hindi na siya mag-improve unless we do something drastic about it, but we really have to act now.
The government should also begin adaptation and provide assistance in relocating the residents in areas that will be affected by the rise of sea levels. Crisime Ocano, Al Jazeera News and Rescue.
Secure your health, for health is our wealth. Thank you so much, Miss Crisime Ocano. And now, the Capamilya actress Karil from its Showtime host came back to play the role of Sita again in rap opera ballet entitled Rama Hari. And news update from Ms. Marian Becky Dampa when Al Jazeera News returns.
Can't afford tiles, just buy mats. Dexter's floor mats. It was thicker than others. Makes home elegant and gives luxury home sense. So what is your way to buy it now?
Live again, Al Jazeera News, willing to spread factual information. Julia Joyce-Bonga again at the studio. The Capamilya actress from its Showtime host Karil came back to play the role of Sita again in rap opera ballet entitled Rama Hari.
The King of King returns on stage. It's been 4 decades since the first piece was presented to 5 national artists. Now Showtime host Karil come back as the main actress Sita. Star Patrolling, Maria P.
Its Showtime host Karil excitedly roaming around in the ABS-CBN News newly restored Metropole Theater. Because after 10 years, she will play the role of Sita again in the famous Filipino rock opera ballet Rama Hari that based on Indian epic Ramayana.
I think now more than ever, people are expressing their excitement and support for local artists. Maraming salamat po. It means the world to us. It is our responsibility as artists to make sure that the future generations know this work, are inspired by it.
In Rama Hari, Karina Duet, Odi Kimora, Sheila Bergerama Martinez, Armando Ferrer, and some others expert in stage actors and ballet dancers.
In a multiverse, parang there are two Sitas and there are two Ramas, so we have to match what they are doing on the dance floor kasi they are such excellent dancers. The text, the beautiful poetry of Bienvenido Lumbera is quite hard to memorize. I think I was fixated on getting the words right.
1979 Windarama Hari created by 5 national artists, idea and direction by Alice Reyes, national artist for dances, libretto and lyrics by Benito Lumbera, national artist for literatures, set and costume design by Salvador Bernal, national artist for theater design, English translations by Rolando Tino, national artist for theater and literatures, and national artist for music, Ryan Cayabia.
I'm very happy. Still have an Alice Reyes, she's actually parang having her fourth wind. 81, and she's still as strong as how I remember her. But I hope I'll be as strong when I turn 81. I'm more optimistic than feeling it's downhill. In every generation, I believe merong leaders, may cultural leaders dyan. Hindi na ubos yung mga taong who consider education as a very, very important facet in our life.
Celebrity Update, Maria Ficagampang. Back to you, Julia Joyce Sibunga.
Thank you so much for the celebrity update, Miss Maria Ficagampang. Now, Christmas is coming, holiday is waiting, and Santa Claus is waiting. 68 days to go, and let us all celebrate Christmas together. This is Al Jazeera News, willing to spread factual information. Julia Joseph at the studio.